So hello and welcome. My name's Esther Fransham and I teach 6 Pilates classes in the community each week. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about the class that I teach on a Tuesday evening at 7:15 called Pilates and Mobility for Beginners. So we do use equipment in this class, but not much, which is really nice. So we have our mat, we use stimulating prickle balls. So they're these stimulating prickle balls with little pimples on, not the ones with spikes. So we use these underneath the feet and things. And then we also use a towel. Now the towel is actually really important in this class because as a beginner, your head needs to be in the right position and the right place. And quite often, people who've never done any sort of exercise or particularly Pilates, our postures tend to be a little bit forward, and we obviously need to be standing up taller and we need to get the head back. So when we come to lie on the floor, what tends to happen is the chin tends to poke up towards the ceiling, and when that happens, having a towel to pop underneath your head just to raise it up that little bit just takes the stress out of the neck. So a towel is very important. So we've got the towel, and we also use resistance bands. Now it can be a light resistance band, which is the pink one, or it can be a more sort of beginnery band. So that would be the 2 bands. Now, with it being a beginner's class, I'd always say opt for the lighter, the easier band. It's all you can have a tough band or an intermediate kind of band. That's not a problem. But when we start to do Pilates, it's actually being aware of how the body moves and feeling the muscles engage. And having a tough band or an intermediate band, it can make it quite strong, and you end up lifting your shoulders, and the idea is to get the shoulders away from the ears and to be able to lengthen and extend. So you can always go to a tougher band, to an intermediate band, but I always encourage people to get the lighter, the slightly easier band, because as I say, you want to feel the muscles working rather than pulling on the band and feeling the tightness in the shoulders, because we're trying to move the tightness from the shoulders and put it into the abdominals. So that's the thinking with the bands. So with the Pilates for mobility for beginners, we usually start off with feet, and we work up through the body, mobilizing all the joints. So again, using the prickle balls on the feet, and then stretching through the calf muscles. We then also turn the toes under here to stretch through the tops of the feet, and then we just move through the feet. So we lift the toes up and spread them out, sort of pedal through the feet, so starting to move the joints, so the ankle joint and the knee joint and the hip joint. And then we may do a bit of circling with the hips, because the hips can be very tight. And then we change the position of the feet. So when we do the circling and the movement, that enables to get all the joints moving, because it's important to change the angle of the joints. So if I took my feet wide here, again, I'm changing the angle of the femur into the hips, into the pelvis. So that's really important. So again, coming to the back and the spine. So a lovely exercise here is to lengthen and round the spine. So doing a cow movement and a cat. So moving from cat to cow, just lengthening and rounding through the back here. Now, if you're somebody who finds it difficult to get down onto the floor, then I do use a chair for options. So if I just grab my chair here now, I can pop it here, and so we would just do anything that was on all fours. You could come and pop your hands on the chair. So doing that cat stretch here, would have your hands on the chair, or you could even have your hands on the back of the chair. So just rounding and lengthening through the spine. So we do all angles. So as I say, we do rotational movement. We then do some movement through the hips. That's it. And then we would do some movement through the shoulders. So we tend to circle one shoulder first and then the other shoulder. So to paying particular attention to all those joints, it's really important, and bringing them back the other way as well. So circling those shoulders, starting off with a small range of movement and then taking it bigger. So sort of building that up, getting the elbows involved, and then taking the arms round and getting them involved too. So just moving through the whole body, so getting all the joints warmed up. And then we would take ourselves to thinking and focusing about the breath. So as you breathe in and out through the nose, out through the mouth, noticing how the ribs move, noticing how the abdominals connect and engage with the out breath. And then we might put a little bit of balance work in there, because balance is very important. But that would also help us to connect with our core. And then we come down onto the floor and we do some perhaps 4-point kneeling work. So if I come down onto the floor here, so some 4-point kneeling work, so be on all fours here, and we could lengthen diagonal arm and leg, or it might even be that we just lengthen one arm and one leg, just to add a bit of variety and complexity and coordination really to the exercise. And then we'd probably come down to sitting, and here I do an exercise that I really like called tip and tuck. So what tends to happen is when we roll back, we just form a C shape with the body, which is fine, which is good, gives us some movement. But I like it when we sit up tall and we do a baby tip and then we tuck our tailbone under, because that really allows you to feel the engagement through your abdominals, and then sit tall again. So it's a little baby tip and then tuck, and then by doing that you feel this lovely engagement through your strong centre, through your core, and then come to sitting. So we'd probably do a little bit of seated abdominal work, and then we would come down onto the floor, onto our backs, and again from here just finding that natural neutral position, and then from here taking one foot up off the floor, placing it back down. And this is quite an easy thing to do, but what we would focus on is the core connection and the abdominals, and just doing the movement slowly in time with the breath. So you breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, when you start to feel your core muscles, your abdominal muscles engage, then we would lift the foot and then bring the foot back down. So it's really much slower, so that we get that opportunity to notice how the body moves. And then we might roll over onto the side and to do some side laying work. So the oyster is a lovely exercise to do here, and a range of side laying leg exercises. So from here then you've got the knees bent, and we would open the knee, or you could lift the feet up and open the knee. So just changing that ever so slightly, and then from bringing the knee to the chest and extending the knee. So working with your balance here, and then take ourselves onto our tummies. Again, forehead on the floor, or that would be a good time to use your towel to place it underneath the forehead so that you don't squash your nose and you can keep the spine long. So again, some retraction work for the shoulders, some engagement through the glutes, so by feeling that you're nicely long and engaged, and then to release. So we might also do some upper back, upper shoulder work here, so lifting one arm up then the other, or taking the arms out to the side and lifting the arms. So that would just change the weight and the load of the arm, and then change over and to do the side laying leg work on the other side. So we'll do that, and then to finish off with some stretches. So again, on all fours, or taking a chair behind us, or using the chair as well. So on all fours here, we could stretch through the stretch through the calf muscles here. Another nice stretch to do is to have the leg outs in front of you, and pop the foot over, and then to sit tall, and that would very much stretch through your gluteal muscles here. And then just adding a little bit of rotation into that, so just taking yourself round to the side. So that would be quite a nice thing to do. We could, as I say, on all fours. We would also perhaps do something like thread the needle, so as you thread the arm through. But this exercise can also be taken to the chair, so your hands would be on the chair here, and you could take the arm up, and then you could slot the arm through. So just giving that as an alternative here. There we go. And then we would come back up to standing, just checking in with ourselves, seeing how we felt, seeing how our bodies feel. And there we would go. This would be a class, a sort of a taster there of the sort of things that we do within the Pilates and mobility for beginners, but very much working, mobilizing those joints first, and then doing some strength core work as well. So if that's of interest to you, drop me a message, let me know, and I can send you some details on how to join this particular class. All right then, have a great day, and thank you very much for watching. Well done.